Right, so let's do the 2023. Right, so let's take one by one, starting with question number 1. Which of the following is not a computing device? So those are straightforward. We'll do very fast. Obviously, laptop is a computing device. Tablet is a computing device. Desktop is a computing device. Smartphone is a computing device. Of course, mouse is part of the computing device, but it does not do any processing. Right? Computing means do some processing, but these are all doing processing for computers. But this is not a processor. It's just more pointing and so on. So therefore, so the best answer we can take is C. Okay. So question number 1, answer must be C. Yes. Question number 2. Which of the following is incorrect regarding software? Software is essential to work with any computer. Yes. Right. So without software, no point having a computer. Google's Android, and first see whether how many are correct answers, because sometimes they say, you can see each question will have 5 choices with only one correct answer. So most of the time you have multiple answers. So that is why it's very important you read you read the instructions. Okay. Now this year it says only one correct answer. Most of the time this paper more than one answer. Okay. Now, if you take the computer system subject, definitely I think more than one answer. Suspected it. Okay. Right. So therefore, definitely only one answer because the instruction says. So that means usually the paper is easier. Okay. Right. Right. Second. So therefore, there must be only one incorrect answer here. Google's Android and Apple's iOS example of application software. No, those are system software. Those are operating systems. So this basically I got the answer. But anyway, look at the other two. There are two major types of software: system software and application software. Yes, system software is required to control access to system resources and manage uh, memory and files. Yes, yes. So that is basically part of the system software. So therefore, D is also correct. C is correct. A is correct. A virtual machine is a software that enable running multiple operating system on a computer. Yes. So the answer is wrong. Answer is B. B. Third one. Utility software is used to prepare reports and print them. No, that is not utility software. Preparing a report is definitely application. Design other software and develop them. Maybe yes, can be utility, but let's see whether we can get a better answer. Analyze, optimize, and maintain a computer. So that is even better for me. Okay. And that is also sort of a optimize, maintain is utility. I told you that something like a broom is a utility, spoon is a utility. Okay, so therefore I think this is even better because only one answer is correct because the question paper says develop graphics and synchronize with audio to create videos. That is definitely application software. Check the accuracy of a calculation done using statistical application. You can see it's application. So I think the best one is C. Optimize, maintain, right? So maintenance is something like file unzip, zip and unzip virus guards, disk defragmenters. So I will go for C. So ideally you must have done the paper by now. Okay. Yes, answer is C. So usually this kind of paper you can easily go for A plus. Okay. So target for A plus, not even A. Which of the following is incorrect regarding open source software? Right? OSS. All kind of open source software free to use. No, not just because open source, it doesn't mean it's always free to use. Because sometimes source code is available, but you need to pay for that. So here, remember, open source is something else. And even when we say free and open source, free means freedom, not free of charge. Yes, most of the time free of charge, but it doesn't, free doesn't mean free of charge. Okay. So I will say no. All kind of open source software are free to use, but I don't know how in which context the examiner used the word free, because free has the word meaning of freedom also. So therefore, let's keep it open. Mozilla Firefox is an example of open source software. Yes, it's fairly open source software. I would say yes. The source code of open source software can be edited. Yes. use of third party users or third parties can access the source code of open source software. That is exactly the meaning of open source. Source code is available. There are different types of open source software distributed under different licenses. Yes, remember lesser general public, GPL, GPL. We have discussed those under free and open source software subject. Okay, so it looks like all these are correct. I hope Mozilla Firefox is free and open source. I think so. Yeah, definitely it should be. So therefore, I'll go for A because it says all kinds of open source software are free to use. No, right? Uh, Definitely, examiner might have should be thinking about free of charge here. So therefore, I'll say A because I'm looking for incorrect. Yes, A. 5. Consider the network types listed under column A and descriptions provided in column B. Right? Internet of everything, Internet of things, intranet. So a bit of common sense also. Okay. Right. So internet means you use internet technology for your internal business organization, like you have internal webs, internal email, and so on. IoT means Internet of Things. That means you connect things together, like door control system, fire alarm system, right? Even your smart TV and so on. Internet of everything means connecting things, computers, humans, everything together into one network. Right. So let's see. Enable sharing information and working collaboratively with members within an organization. That is intranet. Because it's a within an organization. Enables connecting devices, systems, as well as people to network. That is Internet of everything. Because people is also there. Enable connecting any devices with an on-off switch to network. So I don't know what is mean by on-off switch. And definitely connecting any devices is Internet of Things. So therefore, I'll go for 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1. Right? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1. So I'll go for B. Right? Fifth one, B. Yes. Sixth question. This looks very simple paper for me. Which of the following is not a common component of information systems? Right? So usually information system has hardware, software, uh, database, network, liveware, or the people. Okay. Right. Users you need, that is liveware. End users. Policies and policy procedures are also part of the information system. Software, yes. Data resources, yes. Communication network, yes. Network. Server room. No, server room is not part of the information system. So it is hardware, software, uh, of course, special software called database, then network and users. Okay, users. We don't take firmware separately because we have more general concept. Okay. Right. So server room is definitely answer. 6 answer must be E. 7. Which of the following correct regarding computer networks? Wide area networks are used. By the way, I'm not doing a revision because you have the recordings. Okay, otherwise I'm wasting your time. Right. Wide area networks are usually built with twisted pair cables. No. Twisted pair cables are used only for small distance like local area. Wide area means even maybe one part is in Colombo, other part is in Kandy. So definitely twisted pair is not going to work. Wide area network connects computer systems and devices in an office building. No, that is LAN. In a bus network, bus means connect like this. We did introduction. Actually, we discussed this under computer system, but the questions are given in information system. Funny thing, okay? But anyway, you have learned this. In a bus network, all the network devices connect to one another through a single central device. No, that is not bus, that is star. No. Local area network can be used by a small business to share their files and hardware devices. Correct, right? Local area network can be used by small business to share their files, hardware devices. Correct. The server can be any computer that sends messages requesting service from the client on the network. No, actually, server is not requesting from the client. Rather, client server must respond to the client. So definitely wrong. So definitely answer is D. Eighth one. So these are so simple questions. Therefore, I'm doing fast. Okay, but if you need any further clarification or anything else, let me know. Even though information systems play different role in business, they cannot support business operations. Of course, they can support business operations, monitor business performance. Of course, yes. Report the status of the business. Yes. Make strategic business decisions. Not yet. With AI, yes. But still, let's forget about the AI for the time being. Still in the future, definitely yes, but not right now. Okay, so let's keep that as a possible cannot answer. Inform loyal customers about discounts and special offers. Of course, that is frequently done thing, right? Sending SMSs. Answer is D. Not yet. Okay, maybe in the future, D is also possible. Right? D. 9. Organizations with strategic focus on customer value never use information technology to. What is that? So customer value means customer satisfaction. So they say they don't use information technology, maybe for wrong things, okay? Because we value customers. Keep track of their customers' individual preferences. Yes, good. Provide customer services tailored to individual needs. Good. Reveals the privacy of their customers to take advantage. That is really bad thing. So if you value your customers, never ever do this. This is privacy violation. Anyway, let's read the other things. Definitely answer with VC. Allow customers to track their order details. Yes, good. Keep customers updated with information related to product and services. Yes, good. So the answer is C. Because C is we are violating privacy. 10. The primary business process of a firm's value chain do not include. Right? So value chain means from supply to sales. Supply, inventory, manufacturing, sales. Like inbound logistic, yes, inbound logistic means clerical works related to inbound things like or supply order or purchase order, like sending invoices, payments. Yes, inbound logistic is part of the value chain, right? Value chain. Outbound logistic, part of that. Customer service, yes, part of that after sales. Marketing and sales, yes. Human resource management is not part of the value chain, it's a separate supporting service. Answer is definitely D. Okay. So I don't see how you can't get A plus for this paper, right? If you have your basics right, at least basics, not this is super easy. I think from the entire BIT history, I'm also doing this for the first time because this is the last year paper and you are the first batch to do that. From all my past experience, this is the so far anyway easiest paper. To make it even easier, only one answer is correct. Okay. Right. E-commerce can bring lots of benefits to an organization, but still it cannot. Right. E-commerce. E-commerce means selling online, but still it cannot. Support to improve the operating efficiencies of an organization. Maybe it can, but let's see. Right. Provide the necessary information to identify new revenue streams. Right. I don't think that it's a direct answer. Maybe that is also possible answer because it's a cannot. Create an enhanced relationship with customers and business partners. That is definitely yes, right? Especially customers. Okay. Increase the opportunity to identify loyal customers through multiple channels and supporting them. Anyway, all the correct, right? Provides the richness of information and interactions via tangible experience and personal services. What is this tangible experience? I don't think because tangible means physical interactions. So your e-commerce system cannot give you a tangible experience. So of course, maybe virtual experience is okay, but not tangible. So therefore, I'll go for E. Right? Maybe these things we can do for some extent. I think the examiner is not considering e-commerce as selling online. I think examiner consider e-commerce as e-business. That is also not a very good thing to do, but it looks like here what e-commerce means for the examiner is e-business. So then of course these are correct, but this you can't do, right? Tangible experience. So how can you give tangible experience using e-commerce? I'll go for E. But anyway, this can be debatable. Okay. Yes, answer is C. Okay. 12. Now we have the B2B, B2C, business to business, business to consumer, business to government. Which of the following correctly matches the e-commerce type listed under the column A with B? Okay, that should be very easy. It facilitates new organizations to apply for necessary business licenses and permits and everyone to submit tax, that is business to government. It enables business partners to get business partners means definitely B2B. Okay. Connected via virtual suppliers. It assists firms to use social media sites to reach potential customers, B2C. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, sorry. 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1. Answer is B. Okay, answer is B. Yes. 13. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. Organizations selling garments via m-commerce and e-commerce platforms focus on reducing the price of garments by. Yes, you can reduce the price because you can cut down the cost. Identifying loyal customers, most appropriate. Okay. How can you cut down the cost by identifying loyal customers? Okay, let's keep it. Lowering the production cost. Is it a production cost or sales cost? So therefore, let's keep it. Reducing the inventory cost, that is definitely yes. Okay, because inventory cost means we can sell fast. Inventory cost means your product remain in the inventory. That means you have manufactured, but you're not yet sold. Okay, not yet sold. So it looks this is a good answer. Anyway, let's read. Reducing the cost of raw materials. Your e-commerce is not going to reduce the now examiner has taken e-commerce as selling online. Okay. So it I hope because it says m-commerce also. Okay. So therefore I will say no. Giving incentives to their staff, that has nothing to do with this. So that is not related. Okay. So it looks like what the examiner mean is because examiner talk about m-commerce also, probably selling online. So when you sell online, production cost you can't reduce because that is manufacturing. These two are anyway wrong. Identifying loyal customers, yes, you can, but usually for loyal customers, you give additional discounts. Okay. Selling garments, focus on reducing the price because loyal customers will not get more. Reducing the price of garments. But if you find the loyal customers, maybe you can give it at a lower price. Okay. Reducing the inventory cost means you sell quickly. When you sell quickly, you can sell at lower price. I think the better answer is C. So the competition is between A and Z, but I'll go for C. I think this has been asked in the past papers also. So usually we can go for reducing the inventory cost means you quickly sell, right? Quickly sell. But this is also indirectly correct, but I'll go for C, right? Pretty much I'm pretty sure answer must be A or C, but I'll go for C as the better one. Yes, 6-7 has taken C. Because I think this kind of question I have seen in some past paper questions also. Right, 14. Anyway, it's a little bit fussy question. So this is the fussiest so far. 14. Which of the following is not an e-commerce platform in Sri Lanka? So that is you checking your general knowledge. Kapruka, definitely e-commerce, right? Vasi, I think e-commerce site. I have seen this. But eBay is not Sri Lankan one, right? Of course, my Logic is sort of e-commerce site. Takas, yes. Maybe you have already used it. Definitely eBay is not a platform in Sri Lanka. It's an international platform. But anyway, it's available for us, I think, but they are looking for some built by Sri Lankans. I'll go for E. Yes. 15. Consider the following statement regarding credit, charge, debit, and smart cards. Okay. Visa cards and MasterCards are credit cards. Yes. Of course, Visa cards and MasterCard, you have the debit cards also now, but mainly what they are credit cards. Charge cards do not have a present spending limit. I'm not very sure about what is charge card. I think probably you charge it and then use it like a prepaid. I'm not very sure about this. Present spending limit. But in that case, you must have present spending limit. That must be your charge amount, right? I'm not very sure about this. Let's keep it. Smart cards operate like cash or personal check. Actually, I'm not very sure about this. Maybe from your reference book or something. Or maybe just checking the general knowledge. Owners of debit card. So debit card means not a credit card. Basically, you are spending on your savings account or current account. Have to bear an extra charge per each transaction they make. No. Why? Because it's your money. Right? Debit card is your money. So I will definitely take out those having 4. Okay, 4. So I take out this, take out this. I'll take out this because 4 I feel like definitely wrong. What they're asking is correct. So then I know that 1 is correct. So therefore I will, because I'm looking for 1. Here 1 is not there. So therefore I'll definitely go for it. Though it's fuzzy, I'm now pretty sure answer is A. Anyway, let's see. But you can see it looks fuzzy still because it's MCQ. Think smartly and somehow isolate from, you're pretty sure because I use here, I'm pretty sure about this. I'm pretty sure that this is wrong. I'm pretty sure that's enough for me to isolate this as the answer. Okay. Right, 60. Consider the functional information systems, right? That is normal information systems listed under column A and functions provided in column B, right? Which of the following correctly matches? Okay. Marketing and sales information system, finance and accounting, manufacturing. It should be easy question. Develops production schedules, control inventory levels, and monitor product quality. So that must be manufacturing. Forecast revenues and expenses and determine the best source and users of funds. Definitely finance and accounting, right? Conduct product analysis, promotion analysis, marketing. 1, 3, 3, 1. 1, 3, 3, 1. That is C. 16C. C. Can see so far I'm 100%. I had 1 or 2 fuzzy things, still I managed to get it. Actually, I'm looking at this paper for the first time. This is I have never ever go through this paper before. Okay. Sometimes I just go through it about 5 minutes before the class. Today actually I got late, therefore I never had a chance to look at the paper by that means also. Okay. At 17. So anyway, this is very simple paper compared to other papers. Other papers, when you get into 17, at least there are 5 fuzzy questions. Okay. Right. Transaction processing systems are used to provide routine information to managers and decision makers. Now, transaction processing systems are to process transactions and store those information. And okay. Increase the cost of ownership of information technology infrastructure. No, that is not EPS stuff. Track the progress and early identification of issues. No. Reduce the cost and efficiency of labor intensive exchanges such as sales to customer. Maybe yes, right? Sales. So TPSs handle those things. At least partly automated. Identify knowledge gaps of the employees, design suitable training. That is knowledge management system. So therefore, I'll go for D. Okay, because reduce the cost and efficiencies of actually reduce the cost and increase the efficiencies of labor intensive exchanges. I'll go for D. Right, like sales management system and so on. So I think that because this is a little bit fuzzy, okay, I don't know the exact reason. Still, I feel like D is answer. Maybe examiner thinks that this is a little bit fuzzy. Okay, maybe because it says reduce the cost and efficiency. Maybe that is the reason, because efficiency is not reduced, right? So that is why I told you it must be reduce the cost and increase efficiency. Maybe that for that reason, examiner has given marks for all. So it doesn't mean that when you mark all only you get answers, everyone is given marks. Okay, everyone is given marks. So therefore, don't worry, we also get that mark. 18. Batch processing is more suitable for airline ticketing. No, we need to process it then and there. Definitely preparing electricity bill. Okay, so therefore, more suitable for. Okay, making payrolls also okay. Handling stock market investment definitely real time. Film wall seat booking definitely real time because otherwise two people will book the same. Okay. So now we have two answers. Making payrolls, preparing electricity bills. Now, usually payroll means salary. Usually we process salary once a month. And usually we prepare electricity bill also once a month. So now we have two things. But these days, electricity bills are getting more and more online. Like your telecom bill. You can see live updates. So in that sense, not really in Sri Lanka right now, but in some countries, electricity bills are not batch processing. It's also online processing. Unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, it still is batch processing because still these guys are making it online. At least in most of the countries, this is not batch processing now. So therefore, I go for this as the answer. Now this is a real tricky one. So I take a little bit of risk and mark B, but I never know whether examiner has mark C or maybe examiner has given marks for all. So there are two answers. But I will go for B. You can see. So only one answer is correct, but here it doesn't mean that you need to mark both. Those who mark B, those who mark C, all are given full marks. Not all. If you have marked B or C, you get full marks because it's examiner's mistake. Because both are suitable for batch processing, at least right now. Okay. Right, 19. Which of the following is not a transaction processing system? Order processing system, accounting system, sales management system, purchasing system, hotel reservation system. So which one is that? Order processing system, definitely transaction. Purchasing, definitely transaction. That is customer orders, sorry, supply orders, purchase orders. Sales management means usually payments, right? Billing and so on. I'll say yes. Hotel reservation, yes. So in that case, all accounting system is also transactions. Maybe because it says sales management, because others are also pretty much transaction. Because it says management, possibly I will go for E. Okay. Possibly I will go for E, but I am not very sure about that part. Okay. I'll go for E. Yes, I think because of this word management. Okay, not selling. Not selling. Okay. So it's a very tricky one, fussy one, but somehow I got the correct answer. I don't know whether you got the correct answer. Okay. Right, 20. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blanks. Decision support systems rely on as well as vital system resources. Decision support systems. Remember, decision support systems are used to support unstructured ad hoc decision making. So it can support any levels of managers. Right? So it facilitates you to query, isolate the issue and come up with a decision. Right? Decision support system rely on as well as vital system resources. Managers, analysts, interfaces and integrated systems, database and interfaces, model-based and database, model-based and users. I don't think users are important, but users also have a role to play. Okay. But usually decision support systems have a model base with decision models. Okay. So in integrated systems, I don't know. It says model bases and users, databases and interfaces. I'll go for this because usually you need data as well as data models, decision models. I think this is mentioned in your note as well, little bit. Because it says most appropriate, I will go for D. Again, fussy question. I will take a little bit of risk. Okay. Yes, X7 has taken D. Okay. Because model base and database is sort of a standard word we use. I think it's mentioned in your note also, our note also, UCSC note and our note. Right. Which of the following is incorrect regarding ERP, enterprise resource planning? The big systems consisting almost all functionality. So you can pick and choose the functionalities. ERP stand for enterprise resource planning. Yes. It's a cross-functional system. Definitely yes. Right. You name it, almost all the functionalities are there. An ERP system can be implemented faster than functional systems. That is a bit of doubt. Functional system is just one or two functionality. Okay. Sometimes when everything is integrated, it can be faster. Okay, possibly yes. It provides access to quality data and support operational decision making. In a way, yes, but yeah, maybe yes. Okay, let's see. It can handle many activities, including accounting and resource management. That is definitely correct. For me, definitely A is correct, B is correct, E is correct. Now I need to pick one of C or D because remember those are a little bit fuzzy. ERP system can be implemented. Can be implemented means developed. Of course, ERP system development takes a lot of time because it has a lot of functionalities. Okay, so therefore ERP system cannot be implemented faster. It takes a lot of time because functional system is just one or two functionality like accounting system. So therefore, I'll definitely go for C. I'll definitely go for C because I'm looking for this wrong answer. Yes, C. 22nd. Legacy systems in an organization now. Legacy means outdated system. That means system that you should think of replaced by another system or do some considerable modification. Legacy systems is outdated, technology wise, functionality wise. The systems used by many competitive organizations. No, that is not legacy system. The new systems introduced, new systems are not called legacy systems. All systems that can be easily updated and scaled as a business grows. Yes, I don't know whether it's easily updated, but anyway, old systems. Outdated systems that cannot be easily replaced as they are used to deliver the key services. That is correct. It's an outdated system. Then why do you keep it? Because you feel like it's very difficult to replace because it's critical. So usually legacy systems are cursed, sharp, because you know that it is outdated, but you find very difficult to replace it because of integrations and so on. So I'll go for this, but anyway, let's take E. The system newly introduced to the organization, but still cannot be used by no. So new systems are not called legacy. The answer is D. Definitely D. Yes. Online analytical processing. So that means you analyze online data. It is different from data mining. Data mining is analyzing historical data, maybe last 5-10 years of data. What online analytical is, you analyze the recent data, like recent sales data, recent marketing data, and so on. Drill down, roll up, slice, dice. Remember, we discussed all this. Okay. Create, read, update, delete is not online analytical process. It is TPS. Write, erase, append, insert, no. Cut, paste, no. Find, replace, no. So remember, we can do these things. Drill down, roll up, slice. You look at a particular slice. So that is this is applicable for both online analytical processing and data mining. So definitely answer is A. 24. Manager received or engaged in creating the following reports. Which one of them can be considered as exception report? Exception report means report generated when they are the exceptional situation, like exceptionally low sales, exceptionally low production, right? Usually negative. Which one of them can be considered as exception report? Manager create a report with the information that he selected. I don't think that is exception report. Manager can see the real-time sales records of specified format. No, that is not exception report. Manager received scheduled report. If it is scheduled report, that is not exception report. Okay. Manager searches and analyze some sales record and generate reports as required. No. So then final one. The manager receives an alert and a report with some information related to an unexpected incident. Yes, that is called exception. 24 answer is definitely 25. Brain compute interfaces is a system that brain compute interface means we directly connect brain to the computer using a chip. So the Elon Musk has a company called I don't know, Neuro something. So they are doing research on that, and there are some other company brain compute interfaces available. Okay. Has interface that looks like human brain? No. Comes in a robot, make it work as a human? No. Enables human to control the activities of a computer with his thoughts? Yes. Because when you think in your brain, computer must be able to understand. That means you control through your brain. Correct. Can handle any activity such as driving vehicles? No, that is not brain computer. Can perform some specific task with precision and no human intervention? No. Answer is definitely C. Continue from 26th question. Which of the following is not a component of typical expert system? Knowledge base, use interface, data warehouse, definitely data warehouse, because data warehouse has nothing to do with the expert system. Expert system is acting like an expert. Of course, you need expert in knowledge base, use interface so that users can access the knowledge base. Expert system, inference engine, yes, that the logic processing part, explanation facility. So those are the typical component of expert system. So data warehouse has nothing to do with the expert system. So the answer is D. Oh, it says C. Sorry, answer is C. Correct. C. Okay. 27. Which of the following is incorrect regarding buying software? The software should be tested and evaluated before buying. Yes, right. So we must test. That is called user acceptance testing and evaluate whether it's work for you. Functionalities are working. Correct. After purchase, the buying organization get a license to use the software. Yes. Usually, the buying organization will not own the product after the purchase. Yes, usually no. What you get is license to use. Right? Usually, yes, will not own the product. You just get the license to use. The software need not be purchased if there is a cracked version of the same software. That is wrong. That is unethical, illegal thing to do. Before purchasing, make sure that the existing software can work with the new system. Yes, check whether it's compatible. So definitely answer is D. 28. Productivity paradox. Paradox means you feel like this is correct and also that is correct. Productivity paradox related to information systems and technology. IS and IT refer to. Okay, productivity paradox. Productivity. Information systems and information technology. Difficulty in getting expected work done from IT and IS specialists on time. I know maybe this is something from your reference book. I will try to get it through my common sense, okay? Because I have not heard of this, what is something like this, okay? The issue of not being able to find the real cause of the poor investment in IT and IS. I don't know whether that is correct. Lowering employee productivity and getting the work done by the automated systems. I don't know whether we must lower the employee productivity. The fear and dissatisfaction caused by displacement of jobs with the establishment of IS and IT. Maybe that is sort of a paradox. Okay, let's see. The issue of not achieving the productivity enhancements as expected from IT and IS investments. Okay, what is that? Difficulty in getting the expected work done from the IT and IS specialists on time. I don't think that is the answer. The issue of not being able to find the real cause of poor investment in IT and IS. Not being able to find the real cause of poor investment. Productivity paradox. Maybe that is correct. Lowering employee productivity, but I don't think that is answer. The fear and dissatisfaction caused by displacement of jobs with the establishment of IS and IT. Maybe that is also possible. The issue of not achieving the productivity enhancements as expected from the IT and IS investments. Maybe this is also correct. Now, which one should I go? Actually, I'm not 100% sure about this. Maybe it's from your reference book. Maybe I can't remember it. Maybe E, because this is more realistic. Issue of not achieving the productivity enhancements as expected from the IT and IS investment. So you think that the investments will increase the productivity, but actually you don't get it. Right? That can happen. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the E is the most reasonable. If not E, I will go for B, but I prefer to go for E. Right? My second choice is B, but I will go for E. 28. Yes, answer is C. So that is very fussy, but anyway, I managed to get the correct answer. So I think this is more reasonable. The issue of, so we think that the information system and technology will improve the productivity, but maybe sometimes you don't get that productivity. So that is a paradox, but that doesn't mean that is always happening, right? Sometimes that can happen due to cultural issues and so on. Something like, of course, this is not a very good example. Giving a student, like a school student, laptop thinking that it will improve his studies, but maybe he or she is using it for computer games, social media, and not doing studies. The paradox. Right. Which of the following techniques not used in IT investment evaluation? Right. Evaluating the investment. So this is standard knowledge. Payback period. Yes. So lower the payback period, better. Cost ratios. I don't know what is my cost ratios. Usually cost ratios are for long-term accounting things. Net present value, definitely. So net present value means like difference in the cost and revenue, but this time discounted. Time discounted. Definitely net present value is used. Internal rate of return is also similar to net present value. Cost benefit analysis, that is definitely correct, right? Cost benefit analysis means evaluate the investment. What are the costs? What are the benefits? So I think it is cost ratio, because cost ratio, of course, if you have done a bit of accounting, cost ratios are usually ratios that we try to understand the financial state of organization rather than investment evaluation. I'll go for B. I'm not 100% sure, but according to my past experience and bit of knowledge in accounting, I feel like B is the answer. Yes, it is B. I don't know whether you can guess that kind of question unless you have seen it or learned this, but because I have learned about cost ratios, that is more into uh, analyzing the financial stability of a business organization rather than investment evaluation. Okay. Anyway, that is a difficult question. Okay. That is the first real difficult question if you are not from business side. 30. Select the most appropriate option uh, to fill in the blank. A feasibility study is conducted during the system stage of the software development process. Not design, not maintenance, not implementation, not analysis, investigation. I will go for E. By the way, examiner has given A also, but anyway, because some people consider it as part of the analysis, but anyway, the best answer is E. A logical model of an information system. So logical model means more conceptual. Physical model means more technical. Displays how the system works and what issues are there. Okay, how the system works. Logical means mostly not how, what. Describe how the company's business processes are to be conducted. I think that is fairly good answer. Anyway, let's see better than this because how is pretty much not logical. It's more physical. Okay. Is a blueprint including both computer and non-computer components of the system? I don't think so. Describe how information flows and how users can access the required information. Maybe yes. Displays how each component of the system has been integrated to the handle different data formats. No, that is also more technical thing. Technical things are not very logical. Right. So these again tricky one. So now you can see there are tricky questions, at least some. Describe how the company's business processes are conducted. I think the best one is maybe B. Describe how information flows and how the users can access required information. That is also a fairly good one for me. But this says information system, right? But this is not information system, business process. So therefore, I'll go for D. So this says information flows, how the users can access and blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but my gut feeling says maybe D. So far, I am 100%, but I don't know, maybe this one I lose. Yes. So the examiner's answer is C. Why is that? That I thought completely wrong actually. Is a blueprint including both computers and non-computer components of the system. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced about that answer anyway. But anyway, examiner's answer is C. So that is the first one I made real mess of it. Okay. So the examiner's answer is C, but still I'm not very convinced about examiner's answer. Okay. 32. The prototyping cycle in the information development process includes prototyping. Understand the requirement, build a prototype, evaluate. Maybe do another change. Maybe again evaluate until we are satisfied or until our objectives are fulfilled. Investigation, analysis, design. Analysis, design, implementation. Design, implementation, maintenance. So usually for prototyping, you don't go for maintenance. Investigation, that is definitely wrong. Investigation, implementation, maintenance. Usually you don't need maintenance for prototyping, right? Prototyping is analyze, design, implement. Okay. Mostly. Here, investigate, analysis, design, but no implementation. Right? So this is the most appropriate one for me. Analyze, design, implementation. Okay. It investigate, analyze, design. Because it says prototyping, right? Prototyping, is it implementation? No, I'm not very sure. So I'm pretty sure it's A or B, but which one? Anyway, I'll go for B. It's a little bit fussy. Maybe answer is A, but I prefer B. Okay, 32. Yes, examiner's answer is also B. Analyze, design, develop. Implementation means develop the prototype. 33. Which of the following is not included in the four principles technology ethics? Maybe that is from your note or UCS reference book, because this is definitely, I think, not in our note. Anyway, let's try to find out. Four principles of technology ethics. I don't think that the minimizing risk is related to ethics. Right? Informed consent, that is good. Justice, proportionality, right? Maybe peace. And I'm just guessing now because I actually I have no idea about what are these four principles, okay? But I don't think that minimizing risk is related to ethics. Four principles of technology ethics. But maybe actually I'm not very sure about this, but I'll go for C, okay? Right, examiner has taken B. Maybe this is a standard thing. Right? Maybe justice, proportionality, informed consent, and minimize risk. Okay, so I think this is directly from maybe one of your reference book. Okay, so that can happen, right? Otherwise, everyone will get A pluses. So sometimes examiners try to control you. You get into A plus by adding some fussy questions and from reference books and so on. But if you have read the reference book, maybe you have already found this. Okay. Right, 34. Consider the following hacking methods to attack companies through network listed under column A and the description provided in column B. Right. Packet sniffers, Trojan horse, spoofing. Packet sniffers means you sniff the packets, analyze data packets. Of course, if it is not encrypted, maybe you can steal some data. Trojan horse is you are giving a software pretending as useful, but actually in the background it does some bad things, right? Spoofing is basically you try to change the content of cache and so on. Right, so let's read. Act of sending email, WhatsApp, SMS messages, or giving phone calls to trick receivers into sharing their critical information such as personal data, passwords, credit card numbers. Definitely not 1 and 2. I think this is non-technical spoofing. Okay, let's see. Because all the answers are there. A malware that appears to be useful and harmless to enters the computer system as a part of legitimate software and enables attackers to enter the system. So that is definitely Trojan horse. Technique of collecting confidential data that reveals through an unencrypted computers, that is packet sniffers, malicious purposes. However, this can be used as useful tool for network. Yes, you can use it as a tool for network administrators also to identify possible attacks also. Definitely packet snipers. So that means definitely 1, 3, 2, 2. Then of course 3, 1. Right? 1, 3, 2, 2. So then definitely answer must be C. I'm not very convinced about spoof. Maybe this is non-technical spoofing. Okay, so I'll go for C because I'm pretty sure about the other two answers, other mapping. 34, I'll go for C. Yes. Cyber warfare is the action of select the most appropriate option. So usually cyber warfare means basically between countries due to political reasons. So there are some attacks against each other's government sites, critical resources, and so on. Okay. At the same time, it can be that is between the governments. It can happen due to business and other organizational levels as well. Okay, let's see what is the best one. Invading cyberspace with virus attacks for damaging data belong to competitive organizations. Okay, let's see, keep reading. Attacking computers and information systems of an organization on a country to gain financial advantages. But it's a financial advantage. One country or nation to enter the computers or network of another country to cause damage or disruption. I think that is also, that is fairly good answer. Direct cyber warfare. Let's take this for the time being. Using computers and networks to steal confidential information to sell it to another organization, but that is not cyber warfare. Sending messages with fake evidences and fabricated stories to arouse anger of a general public can gain political advantage. That is also sort of a political thing anyway. Okay. But is it really cyber warfare? I think C is direct answer for me. E might be correct, but because C is there, I'll go for C. Okay, 35. Yes, answer is C because C is the more direct answer. Direct warfare. Okay. Right. Consider the following description to answer question 36 to 40. Okay, so you have description. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. To secure the students' personal data in online processing and maintain integrity, the tuition masters has prepared stating all rules and procedures that all students should follow. Okay. To ensure the students' personal data in the online processing, maybe online platform or whatever, and maintain integrity, the tuition master has prepared maybe some policy document or something, all rules and procedures that all students should follow. Security policy, firewall, not a firewall because this is related to people. Security audit is usually afterwards we do double check whether things are happening according to the plans. Okay, so that is not correct. Not antivirus software. Security dashboard. I think the better answer is security policy. Security policy for students to follow. I'm pretty sure answer is A. Yes. 37. The student using the laboratory should be advised to share their password with the tuition master to, let's read this also, right? I think we did not discuss this. So let's read this also, right? Actually, I answered this without reading this. I should have read this. A tuition master running an institute has expanded its services by implementing an online learning platform. The student can make monthly payment online and access the tuition master's learning resources through OLP. The students who do not have the required infrastructure to access the online learning resources can use computer laboratory at the institute with an additional payment. Right, so that is the scenario, okay? Right, now let's do the second one. The student using laboratory should be advised to. This is students using laboratory. Maybe some security advice like do not use their pen drives and don't install anything download from the internet and so on maybe. Share their password with the tuition master to get them recovered easily. Students using the laboratory should be advised to. No, that is not a good thing to do. Your password is yours. Write the password on a piece of paper and bring it to the laboratory every day. That is a bad thing. Asking for problems. Use a strong password with capital letters, simple letters, numbers, and special characters. That is good. Help peer students who cannot make the class fees by sharing the OLP login. No, that is unethical. Use the students' names as password so that they will not forget. No, that is bad practice. So definitely the answer is C. 38. The tuition master has created his learning material by copying lecture notes from freely accessible websites and learning platforms without getting written permission from the owners of the material. This activity of the tuition master cannot be considered, so that is basically copyright violation, right? It's unethical and also illegal because he or she has copied from, but anyway, those are freely accessible. Uh, but you use it without permission. So you can't use others' contents without their permissions and use it like yours, right? That is purely copyright violation, illegal thing, and also it's unethical, immoral work using others' work as yours, right? Infringement cannot be, so it's a infringement, it's a copyright violation, it's an intellectual property theft. It's not ethical, it's unethical, it's a violation of law. Actually, you are doing illegal thing, you are doing infringement, right? You are intellectual property theft. Okay. The answer is ethical because it cannot be considered as ethical at all. 38b. 39. Some students complain that they got neck and shoulder pain. Oh, after working with the computers at the laboratory, maybe they are not properly adjusted, not ergonomically designed. The tuition master should advise them to bring their parents to the institute. I don't think so. Leave the class immediately and find another class. Use proper posture when working at the computer may be correct. Keep wrist rest pad between the keyboard and the edge of the table. But is it going to help neck and shoulder pains? But I think C is better. Focus away from the screen every 20 to 30 minutes by looking at a wall in front of them. That is also a good thing, but this is neck and shoulder pains, right? I think the better or the more general answer is C. I'll go for C. Yes, because that is the general answer. Okay. Right, 40. To protect the privacy of the students, the tuition master instructed the students not to be careful about sharing their information online. So that is good. Make sure whether they have saved any personal data on the computer at the laboratory. Make sure whether they have saved. Make sure. That is poorly worded thing anyway. It's fuzzy. Take a copy of all files created and delete the files saved in the shared folder daily before leaving the laboratory. Take a copy of all files created and delete the files saved in their shared folder daily. I'm not very sure about that. Share their personal information with anyone, even if they need to fill out any questionnaire or forms for some purpose. That is bad thing, right? Share their personal information with anyone. I think that is bad. Ignore the messages about lotteries. Yes, that is correct. Like these are phishing. Make sure whether they have saved any personal data on the computer at the. Anyway, this is I think not properly worded. Okay, I feel like D is the wrong answer. Not to do. Okay, that is share their personal information with anyone, not anyone, right? So I'll go for D. Yes, D. Yes, so that's it. So that's it about 2023 paper.